Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about the royal mess that is the combination of Texas Governor Greg Abbott's determination to supplant the federal government in policing the Texas-Mexico border and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is abetting his efforts. Okay, this is a really complicated, ongoing situation. Abbott announced Operation Lone Star several years ago and has done all kinds of different measures to basically give Texas authority or purport to most recently deport immigrants, make it a state crime for immigrants to enter, but also impede their arrival. And if you know anything about, federal law and the Constitution, it's clear that he's completely beyond his rights. That is the purview of the federal government. And there is the supremacy clause. You can really analogize this to efforts by Southern governors in the civil rights era to just defy the demands of equal protection, to segregate the schools. He's being just as brazen, and there's all kinds of different ways in which he's been fighting the federal government. Lately, there's this so-called concertina, basically fencing put into it's all along the border of the Rio Grande, and especially most intensively of late on this sort of 2.5-mile border of it, though it's over the relevant border that the Border Patrol for the Feds police is like 145 miles. All kinds of different things, and he's boastful about it. There's a Trumpian aspect to that's also reminiscent, really, of the '60s. Where George Wallace said segregation now, tomorrow, and forever. He's saying we'll do everything we can except murder people, because then the Biden administration would sue us. Okay. So there's different aspects of this that are playing out, and including one that you might have read about, that the DOJ is madly going to the Supreme Court to get to reverse what the Fifth Circuit has done. This episode's a different one. It involves one of the first things they did. They've been referred to as buoys, but they're like these 1,000-foot, like weird accordion shapes that are meant to and do impede migrants from crossing, but that are also very dangerous. And at least one dead body of a would-be migrant has turned up. And it's also impedes the Border Patrol's ability to do its job and to navigate there, et cetera. So the U.S. sued to say, get these damn buoys out of there. And this was last year. So at first, the district court did say you've got to remove this barrier, as it basically is. And the Fifth Circuit, which really is a huge part of the problem here. It's both very conservative, but it's also wacky and seems, happy to depart, I'll put it gently, from its normal role of enforcing federal law. It's got 6 Trump judges among its, so more than a third of the court, and they've been doing crazy ass stuff. In fact, this Supreme Court term, I think, will feature a few cases where the Supreme Court itself, pretty darn conservative, has to beat back the just crazy kinds of rulings by the Fifth Circuit. But anyway, the Fifth Circuit does say by a 2-to-1 vote, yep, you got to get these things out of there. Until yesterday, when you've heard by now about rehearings en banc, you go to a court of appeals and you usually get a panel of 3 judges. But there's also the whole court, and in very rare instances, we're talking less than 1%, the full court will vote to hear a case, and they can control the full vote of the en banc court trumps, as it were, the panel. So here, yesterday, the full court says, we want to rehear this case, in which the district court ordered and a panel of our court affirmed that the state's got to get rid of these, 1,000-foot buoys that are right in the middle and totally gumming up the works. According to what theory, it would be legit for the state to have these here and impede federal law enforcement function is very much a mystery to me. This is so sort of, down the middle federal purview and so down the middle supremacy clause. But they not only ordered it, they stayed the injunction. So they said, until we do hear it as an en banc court, the buoys, the 1,000-foot sort of barriers remain. They didn't have to do that. It would have been easy enough to, if they decided to let them stay, to restore them if they hold for Texas and reverse the panel. And there's clear sort of danger to them, but they're thinking the stay means that their disposition is to reverse the panel and hold somehow. And we'll have to talk about it when it happens, because it beats the hell out of me now. The state is entitled, notwithstanding the supremacy clause, to keep these things around, and notwithstanding it's not just the constitutional issue. It's like Border Patrol being unable to get to places and migrants potentially being impeded and killed. They have a right, migrants, to come here and state their claim for asylum. And, this in some instances is like just, Texas guard just posting a sniper at the border and shooting them before they come. I mean, it's plainly inconsistent with federal law, and federal law plainly trumps. But the Fifth Circuit has now spoken, and the DOJ has to think about how many cards it can play in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court's routinely reverse the Fifth Circuit. That's how out there the Fifth Circuit is. So 3/4 of the time they get reversed. There's I think 6 cases now on the Supreme Court docket from the Fifth Circuit, including some prominent ones where I think they will reverse. They were reversed in the Voting Rights Act. The Supreme Court held that little bit. The Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act survives, and they had to reverse the Fifth Circuit to say that. So I don't see what the Fifth Circuit en banc has in mind, but it's got something in mind. And there's only so many times or so much effort the Supreme Court can deploy to try to keep them in line. And the main point is that for now, these barriers designed to keep migrants out and certainly have the effect, intended or unintended, of getting in the way of the Border Patrol's lawful function, are going to remain, and for a pretty good stretch of time, because a full en banc hearing on the merits takes a while. So some kind of funky situation. And as I've said at the outset, that's only one of several things on this whole sort of cowboy effort by Abbott to take over federal function at the border. And this one looks like it's gonna remain that way, and maybe with tragic consequences. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.